On behalf of New Heritage Theater Group, celebrating its 60th anniversary, and the Harlem Arts Alliance, a 20-year-old art service membership organization, I want to thank you for acknowledging our collective impact on arts and culture in Harlem, New York City, and throughout the world. Both the Harlem Arts Alliance and New Heritage Theater have established a fine reputation for contributing to the cultural pluralism of New York City by presenting quality theatrical presentations by and for people of color. Over the past few decades, we have introduced presentations from South Africa, and I wanted to focus on South Africa because it dealt with social justice issues. The shows that we produced was Voza Albert, Asinamali, Sarafina, and Township Fever, all directed by the late Mbongeni Ngema from South Africa. All of these presentations dealt with social justice issues. Our first play, Woza Albert, honored Albert Lutuli, an anti-apartheid leader, the 1960 Nobel Peace Prize winner and the first African to win the award for his work in leading 10 million Black Africans and their nonviolent campaign for civil rights. The second play was Asinamali, a Zulu word that means we have no money, and deals with the 1983 rent strikes imposed in the Black townships of Lamontville, South Africa. Asinamali focused on the rent boycott movement where millions of Black South Africans had no money, jobs, or a voice. The third play was Sarafina, which focused on the Black South African students involved in the Soweto riots of 1976 in opposition to apartheid. The South African government massacred over 800 students simply because the students wanted to speak English as their native language as part of their school curriculum. Our collective history of presenting local and national artists have placed New Heritage in a unique position as a community-based theater. When I joined New Heritage in 1964, the objectives of its founder, Roger Furman, a member of the 1940s American Negro Theater, along with Sidney Poitier, Harry Belafonte, were to produce and stage Black theatrical productions of historical significance with a universal message, and to produce the plays by local and national Black playwrights as well as third world writers. Roger Furman died in 1983, and I was asked to assume leadership of the theater. Reluctantly, I agreed to accept the position of leadership which I hold today. My thanks goes to Ozzie Davis and Ruby Dee for encouraging me to do so. In 1964, at the age of 19, I was very concerned about civil rights and the discriminatory practices in the South and the murders that were happening to Black people advocating for their civil rights. The exposure that I received by being a part of the theater stimulated my interest in reading Roger Furman's Black Book, edited by Toni Morrison. The book provided me with an awareness of Black history by identifying some of the sufficient and unsung contributions made by Black Americans. I welcomed reading and learning the histories of Frederick Douglass, Paul Robeson, Langston Hughes, Fannie Lou Hamer, Sidney Poitier, Nikki Giovanni, Ozzie Davis, Ruby Dee, and Harry Belafonte, to name a few. My exposure to Black theater made me aware of other contributors, some who I met and others who I saw. Today, the theater has an open dialogue with local and international playwrights as we continue our legacy of continuing to represent Harlem as the cultural capital of Black America. As a testament to our commitment to empowering youth, we proudly gift the Harlem Master Class to 50 HEAF students kicking off at Columbia University on November 10th. This series of workshops, events, and projects connect 50 Harlem teams with distinguished professors, industry icons, and community leaders, inspiring the next generation of artists, leaders, and change makers. As I approach 82 years young, I find myself just as dedicated to this work as I was 60 years ago. The energy and passion of these young people in my community fuels my spirit and reminds me that the fight for justice and equality through art is an ongoing journey. It is my hope that the New Heritage Theater Group and programs like Impact Repertory Theater, the Harlem Masterclass, Harlem Heritage Films, our local and Broadway productions will continue to inspire generations to come, carrying on the legacy of those who came before us and shaping a future where every voice can be heard and celebrated. And I know that that's the direction that we're all on this evening. I want to say good night and thank you for this wonderful honor. Thank you.